Well, you've asked a couple questions. Let me try to answer them in order. You ask first, is it legal for the judge in New York to send the child back to California? All right, we're back. I'm attorney Vincent. I'm on with my co-host, social influencers, Aaron Carranza and Georgette Truin. We're going to be taking some more calls right now. Let's go to a caller from New York. Is it Habdad? Hope I'm not messing up that name. Did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Hold on. How did you say the name again?
Habidad.
No, it's Abidan. Abidad.
Abidad. Okay. They had you input wrong into the computer. But go ahead. Did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I have a update and a question that pertains to this update because you told me to call back when I get an update, and it's like an immediate update that has transpired since our last conversation.
Okay, what's going on?
Since our last conversation, I told you that one of my grandchildren was still in New York State, but on 8/25/21, New York State took him into custody, and on 8/31/21, they shipped him back to L.A.
I remember you calling. Yes.
Yeah, and after he had lived in New York State for the whole part of his life, and you made reference to the UCCJEA, and I was wondering, did the judge have jurisdiction? She didn't hold no type of hearing. She dismissed our petitions as moot, and she went along with the county attorney in New York and shipped the baby back to LA. And I've seen a picture of the baby, no shoes on his feet, no socks on his feet, in the foster care. They don't know I saw this, but I'm just saying, it's like, did they have jurisdiction to do that? Because he lived the majority of his life in New York, and he left New York pre-court order, pre-removal, pre-missing person report, all that. He left there to reside in New York. He was under the full supreme care of his near and next of kin, supremely going to all his doctor's appointments. They filed false charges against the grandparents, had the grandfather arrested, took the baby into custody and brought him back to LA County. The social workers, all the way up to the ARA, refused to answer questions, return our phone calls. We don't know where our grandchild is at all. We got the picture from his mom, who is still in the homeless shelter, who is epileptic, and it's like they're manipulating her. She don't even realize that she probably done lost her parental rights and stuff like that because she's emotional and she moves when her and my son didn't get along. She just went emotional and started using the domestic violence game, and the children are in limbo in the near next of kin. They've been casualties of this whole quagmire, and it will, we're going to fight for ours, but is that legal for them to do that after that child has resided for the majority, the mass majority, built an extensive bond with his near next of kin, not just his grandparents. He got 21 cousins. He got 7 aunts and uncles, and he got massive family in Rochester, New York, like massive family. He has only one person there. That's his mother, and she's not in the condition to be alone raising those children. And it's really deep because even the foster care lady that has them is associated strongly with, that organization. It's like, like I said, is it foster care or foster gate? Quid pro quo, what's going on? Because that child probably shouldn't have been moved. And just the trauma, I'm looking at his picture. He's looking at his sister like, who are you? I don't know if they drugged our baby to fly him across because he's very active. And we just let him be and have fun and grow. And they separated him from supreme care. And I just don't understand it. How they can do that. Is it a violation of the UCCJEA based on the time he was here, based on him leaving California 3 weeks after his birth, pre-planned, but they tried to preempt the mom but she moved out pre-court order to deliver her child safely to where she knew it would be in his best interest. And he has received that. And like I said, they took him back on 8/31/21 to California. And I want to know, what can we as grandparents do immediately to get some type of, reciprocity for justice for our grandchild, because we don't want him in foster care. He don't need to be. We don't need their resources. We don't need municipal government taking over our progenial line and acting like we don't exist, and then filing, stuff against us, and they don't even know us, never met us. Me and my wife been married for 32 years. We've been in a relationship since we was 10 years old. We got 7 children, 21 grandchildren, an impeccable record, all high school, military service, 2 college graduates. We fit the description of what you're supposed to be, the good American family, but we don't plan to stand by and let them do this to us like that. And this is more like a national and international civil rights, human rights issue. And everybody should hear about this. They transported this 9-month-old baby across the state, didn't tell us nothing, didn't give us no documentation. I even called the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They told me, well, maybe you need to talk to CPS. And I'm telling you, CPS might have violated federal statutes here, along with the judges, the jurisdiction, because it was all like a rigged proceedings, rubber stamp judges. And the judge in New York has strong ties to California. She was in the foster care system. I read her bio. I'm not going to call no names on the air, but in my mind, is this a potential conflict of interest? Is she endemic of her past or what? But in the meantime, my grandchild got to suffer unnecessary separation from the only family he knew. And what can we do about it?
Well, you've asked a couple questions. Let me try to answer them in order. You ask first, is it legal for the judge in New York to send the child back to California? The judge has the power to do that under the UCCJEA. That doesn't mean it was the right decision, okay? But she does have that power. The second question is, what should you do? Well, if the child is a dependent of a California court, you should find an attorney in California and try to get representation to have the child placed with one of you as a relative placement or someone in your family. Because you're right, the child should not be in foster care if there are that many relatives out there who could take him into their custody. I know this sounds so easy for me to say, but that's really what the law is. Now, the hard part is the implementation, because I told Georgette this past week. Everybody in these CPS cases has their own agenda. Everybody, right? Not just you, not just the parents, but the children's attorney, the social worker, the social worker's boss, the ARA. Everybody's got their own agenda. So you need to get representation and get into court and demand that the child be placed with a relative.
Even in New York State, because that's the whole issue, is the distance between, California and here. But like I said, basically their job was already done. So I understand it's a business, and I understand we're all business people. I'm a commercial venturer myself, but I'm not their customer, and neither is my family, and neither is the name. And when a movement begins that ain't afraid to confront them, then that's going to be on them, because
2 minutes.
It wasn't right what they did. The child was bonded with his family, everything, and I don't understand. Based on what I read.
Well, let me jump in here for a second. We're going to assume that everything you said is correct. Now what? And so what? What are you going to do? Do you want to be right, or you want to get this kid back?
I want to get the child back, of course.
Great, because they're not the same thing. Now the judge has done something. Now you have to react and do what you have to do. All right? And you got to talk to a California attorney. You got to find out where this kid is and file the appropriate motions and petitions and paperwork to get this in front of a judge in California. What you said, Los Angeles County?
Los Angeles County Department of Social Children
Monterey
Services.
Park.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Monterey Park, Edmund Edelson Courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's what you got to do. Where are you located?
I live in Rochester, New York, sir.
Okay.
I live in Rochester. But the point I'm making is I read the laws on this. The child resided. I have the child on my insurance. We have all of his medical appointments. He resided. He came here with the intent to reside.
Okay. But sir, what I'm telling you is, I understand all of that. That's water under the bridge. I'm sorry. That's water under the bridge. Yeah. You can sue them later, but you got to get this child back. And the only way you're going to get the child back, get a California attorney, go to court, file the appropriate petitions, motions, and everything.
Well, my attorney's office is going to be Vincent Davis. I'm going to tell the world that right now. I'm just working on things to get at your office, sir.
Okay.
So,
well, give me a call.
I appreciate what you're doing.
All right. Well, give us a call.